Hello, ladies and gentlemen of SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis, Simulant Sowers. We are jumping into another Phantom Sealed. Just recovering from GPDC. Had a great time. We finished 21st out of over 1,000 teams. Played with my teammates Martin Brunet and Jack Wang. Got a little bit of the con cold, which sometimes happens when you go and play in events like that. So a little under the weather, but I think we're still able to play Magic. I'm excited about getting back into some sealed as we're going to be playing in PPTQs, etc. going forward. So let's crack open this pack. All right, so what have we got here rare-wise? Sort by rarity. Got a Sanctum of Eugene. Sacrifice it, find a thing. Okay, so it's kind of like a waste. Got Mina and Din. I like Mina. Din, I don't like so much, but, you know, they come as a pair. Endbringer, that will certainly bring the end. Obligator's fine. Deceiver Reform is fine if you want a big potato. Conduit of Ruin is pretty neat because you can go get your big potato. And Aligned Hedron Network is kind of garbage. I also like to take a peek at what we've got going for gold cards as well as actual colorless cards. So we've got a Grover to go with Mina and Din. Weapons Trainer I like. I mean, if you're going aggro, which I'm hoping we're not, but it could happen. Void Grafter. Sometimes you need to get grafted. What do our colorless spells / fixing look like? Not terrible. I do like the Conduit of Ruin. 6 mana 5/5 is okay. And the fact that it ramps you into casting other things is pretty neat. And it can go find a 7 or greater. So we'd have to run the Deceiver and or Devastator for that. Got a couple of wastes, a Sanctum. Got a River, Vestige, Holdout Settlement, and Blighted Gorge. So we're probably interested in running 2 colors / colorless if we can. We'll see where our power level ends up, because I'd like to definitely have the Endbringer and the Conduit in whatever deck we play. But let's see where we are. So we'll pull down. What I've been doing lately is pulling down the cards from each color that I consider playable. Get out of here, Inspired Charge. You're not playable. And then we'll move over like the reasons to be in that color. So like, here's our white cards. Here, we'll put up a little preview pane too. Sometimes that can help when viewing on a small screen. So like, these are all playable white cards, but why would you want to be white? Well, you'd want to be white because you can have a Gideon's Reproach in an Isolation Zone, for example. So like, these are the draws to white. All of these others are fine cards. And yeah, there's, you know, times you might play a Mighty Leap, but the white's relatively bad. And that there's not a lot of, Ermagerd, we got to be white cuz. I mean, Ghostly Sentinel's fine, etc. But let's go through and look at all the cards. Blue looks a little rough. Yeah, there's not much of it, and the only real card that's making me want to play blue is Containment Membrane, so we can probably just put that right back. One color being particularly shallow like this can be a good thing. It means something else should be relatively deep. Hey, look at here. Well, it dried up kind of quick, but there's some interesting cards here. Obviously, I like Oblivion Strike. I like playing Tendrils main deck more than a lot of people do. Just, I found people play a lot of aggro and sealed when they really shouldn't. And this can punish them for doing that. Tarsneer's okay. The Familiar's pretty good too. That counts as a draw in. Like, that's a reason to play black. Because it can attack and block and then trade with their best creature. I like it. So what do we got going on over here? Hey. This is actually starting to look reasonable. So Boulder Salvo isn't my favorite sealed card, but one of them certainly a reason to be there. Vile Aggregate can be phenomenal if you get enough colorless dudes to go with it. I'm happy with all of these things, and Embodiment of Fury is a reason to play red. Like, this is a very powerful card. We may have a green-red deck on our hands, which would let us play both of these as well, which would be pretty cool. Let's see what else we've got going on here. Oh, these guys play rather nicely with the aggregate, don't they? And Stalking Drones? Okay, okay. I see what you did there. It's like we start to get a draw into green. Like, there's nothing, oh my god, I have to play green for the X. But like Lagak is good, Stalking Drone is good. There's 2 of them. If we're planning to play a relatively high amount of colorless sources anyway, that starts to get good. Like, this makes me think green-red Splash and Oblivion Strike might be the direction we go. Which really doesn't let us use this Meandering River, but meh, that's okay. You can play a Thicket and a Swamp and probably get there. Holdout Settlements, I guess, okay too, since we'd be looking for some colorless sources already. I think that's where I want to start looking here. Because again, the white only has 2 real cards that are pulling me into it. Like, this is a lot of random high-end things. We probably don't need all of them. This also looks like a deck that's trying to be a bit aggressive. Like, what's the point of doing this? Because I make a big Vile Aggregate? I get some mediocre 4-drops. Maybe this just isn't as good as I thought. Like, we want these in here. We probably want that in here, and that's just better than all of this. Birthing Hulk being the one possible exception that maybe we would want to play that. At that point, you probably also run the Crawler. But maybe not. You've got the Watcher and land drops. Like, we would cut this down to enough land that you wouldn't need to do all that much ramping. It doesn't actually have any real removal. Like, Boiling Earth isn't fantastic. Vines of the Recluse isn't fantastic. It's kind of a bunch of dudes. I like Stonewaker. Okay. Like, this guy doesn't really do anything because there's not any other allies other than Mina and Din, right? Why couldn't you bring, like, elementals into the ally fold? So that's a pretty easy cut. We're a little heavy on creatures, but I mean, that's kind of okay. I feel like this deck just gets itself into a board stall and then loses. And the mana's not even great. Like, our end game is Endbringer. We can't actually kill anything that matters. Alright, let's look very quickly at a black-white deck. Because there may be one here that I was just not catching, because there's some good cards here. Like, how far off are we from this being a deck? We're not that far off. This deck has a better curve. It has some synergies. This may just be better. The creatures aren't as good, but you can actually kill the things that matter. It's got 16 creatures as long as you count the allied reinforcements, some of them with evasion. Like, I don't love the Wall of Resurgence either. I could see maybe taking that out and splashing something. You could splash a Wavewing Elemental. That's not amazing, though. I think I just like this better. The other one was kind of like play a bunch of dudes and see if you can smash their faces in. And I'm not entirely convinced that that works. And here you've got some evasion. I think you could use the wall. Got some enchantment removal. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 good removal spells. Deflaying Tendrils does play poorly with some of our 2/2s. So we could either start that in the board or just be aware that it's in the deck. Like, if we draw an opener that has Flaying Tendrils, we don't just, you know, jam out all the 2/2s. Is there anything here that is worth a splash? It's like, that is something you can do. I'm not convinced that there is. Pretty easily splash a blue card, but none of these do anything. Could splash a Containment Membrane. That seems kind of silly, but I mean, it's a sheer drop that you can't awaken. Just play a Mighty Leap. I think if we consider that a lot of times we're just going to run this out as a 1-for-1, we can be pretty happy. I think this deck may be better. The other one looks better until you start really analyzing it. Like, it can't... If somebody drops a Ruin Processor or a Deceiver of Form, but it doesn't have to be rare. If they drop a 6/6 Potato, And see, they play a Canopy Gorger. The green deck can't actually beat it because the only way we have to deal with anything is a Boulder Salvo. Like, that's it. You'd have to play Combat Tricks as your removal, and that's just not what I want to be doing in Sealed. Whereas this deck has some flyers to kill them with. There's some weird synergies going on with the Step Glider, the Shoulder to Shoulder, and the Wall of Resurgence. Like, that can force through some damage and close out a game. It's got the colorless sources to enable the Shrieker to be evasive. We can cast the Endbringer. We probably don't need the Deceiver, but like I don't mind having a giant thing in the deck. Tarsnir is not the best removal on the planet, but it's kind of what we got. I don't think our mana really lets us do anything else besides this, so I think this is where we're going to go. Vestige is an easy include. Holdout Settlement, I think, is also an easy include. The question is, what is that last one? Whenever you cast a spell with 7 or greater, sack it, search your library for a colorless creature card, reveal it. Like, I mean, I guess I don't even really know why we would want to do that. When we cast our Deceiver Reforms, we can go get our Endbringer. That's cool. I'm thinking the Blighted Gorge might even be semi-reasonable as an include if we're keeping the Holdout Settlement because it does something. But let's see, we need basically 3 colorless sources in here. This gives us 2, and that's 3. So we could play it here, but I kind of want to get one more in there. I don't think it needs to be a waste. I guess it's never a bad thing to be like, okay, your colorless land will go get you, you know, your next best Eldrazi if you're able to cast this one first. That can't hurt. Or we could just run Blighted George with the idea that we might be able to activate it with a Holdout Settlement. Going to make the mana a little tough to hit Tendrils early. We could even consider something like Grave Birthing as an alternate colorless source. Maybe I'm just okay with these 2 as my colorless sources. Because again, I've got the Translator to help get these guys out. What does this leave me with if I do it like that? Something like 8/8. Then we could use the Vestige to help fix a little bit. Holdout Settlement to help fix a little bit. I think I'm okay with this. It's a little shorter on the colorless sources than I'd like. Yeah, I need to be able to cast those colorless sources. Let's swap this out for the Sanctum. And let's get rid of this Flaying Tendril. I want to be able to cast it early, enough that it has an impact. But it just doesn't look like it does anything here. We could always play a Corpse Churn. Like that lets you get something back if they've destroyed your bomb. Can dig you to your bomb. There's just not a reasonable splash for something else. I think I'm going to submit this main, and then we'll see how the Tendrils does and take it out in some matchups. I think this is the best build we can get here. It's close. The red-green one does allow you to play some bombs and is really interesting. Like, I like the Embodiment of Fury. It's got great creatures, but it just can't kill anything. And I feel like that deck just kind of plays out its dudes, turns them sideways until it can't anymore, and your opponent finds a flyer and kills you with it. So I'll be interested to see how this one plays out. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you for round 1 in just a moment.